in Belfast alongside the statue of John Rinty Monahan to meet Carl Frampton. He's about to fight again in America after seeing his fight against Leo Santa Cruz. We saw the beginnings of what could be a really great rivalry. And he has a chance not to be a great Irish fighter, but a truly great fighter.
It's nice weather. How you doing?
What's going on?
Nice to see you.
I figured we would meet by the statue of Mr. Monahan. I'm assuming you never saw him fight.
No, I never seen him. It was a little bit before my time, but I've heard many stories about Rinty.
Why do the people of Belfast love their fighters so much?
I don't know. It's a working class city. It's a working class sport. As long as you don't get too big for your boots and too full of yourself, you remain the same as you always were, then they'll always love you.
Let's go for a walk. Come on, show me around. How has this city changed in the last 10, 15 years?
Well, even since I was a kid, it's a much easier place to live. You know, it was a lot of trouble. I kind of grew up at the back end of the Troubles. So the Troubles were almost over when I was growing up, but there was still a lot of fighting between the Protestants and Catholics. And now it's a much more inclusive city. People want to forget about that, and it's moved on a lot. And I feel like I should have a job for the tourist board. I'm constantly promoting Belfast. People are still frightened of it. They think it's thatched cottage roofs and men running around with balaclavas and shooting each other, but that's not it. This is a good city. Cheers.
Carl, tell me about growing up in Tigers Bay.
If I'm being honest, it was a rough part of the town. It's a loyalist community, 100% Protestant, and the neighbouring housing estate, the New Lodge, is 100% Republican, nationalist, whatever you want to call it. So there was one street separating the Protestants from the Catholics, and there used to be a lot of fighting, a lot of rioting.
Rioting.
Rioting, yeah, ratting, as I say it. That's my Belfast
It's the
slang.
language barrier.
Yeah, that's my Belfast accent. I started boxing when I was 7 years old, and I was in and out of the Catholic areas, the nationalist areas all the time. So I never really got involved in too much trouble. As I got older, I got a bit more wiser and I stayed away.
You got a pass from the sectarian violence because you were a fighter.
Yeah, they try to keep religion out of boxing, and it's one of the only sports that it can really happen in.
Boxing is tribal. Why do fighters get a pass?
It's a respect thing, and people respect good fighters over here. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're from.
We all want our fighters to have symbolic meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious what Barry McGuigan meant in a time of great strife and troubles.
Yeah. In Barry's day, when he was doing it, Northern Ireland was a bad place in the height of the Troubles, and you had IRA men, you had UVF, UDA, loyalist paramilitaries sitting alongside each other and cheering on this wee man from Clonus. It was strange, but it happened and it worked.
Barry represented a symbol of peace during one of the darkest times in Northern Ireland. What does Carl Frampton represent?
You know, people want to look at me and talk about me as being a kind of a new figure for Northern Ireland. I'm a Protestant, married to a Catholic. This is a new age thing, you know. And
Barry was a Catholic who married a Protestant.
Yeah.
That would have been like Romeo and Juliet. You would have been doomed by the tribes that you come from, but you weren't. Why?
I don't know. I think by that time, Northern Ireland had changed, and it was a better place, and people were more open to the idea of mixed marriages, they call them, Protestants marrying Catholics. People were more open to that idea, but 20 years before it, I may have got a few funny looks.
Tell me about the Midland Boxing Club.
Midland Boxing Club is my amateur club. It was...
In your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood in Tigers Bay. It was a 2-minute walk from where I lived, so I wanted to try it out, and I fell in love with boxing pretty much instantly. I was quiet, and if someone said something, I would kind of shy away. I didn't like conflict, and when I went to the boxing club, I started sparring pretty much my first or second week, and I was beating up these guys who I would have been afraid to fight in the street.
And you liked it?
And I liked it, and that's it.
You like kicking people's ass?
Yeah, I do. There's something about it that it's a great feeling when you overpower someone else, and it's been like that since I was 7 and 8 years old.
But it's a weird thing, because you're a nice guy, you're a nice person.
Yeah, it's like...
But you do like hurting people.
You do. It's like a switch flicks and you're someone else, and you smell blood, you go after it, and I think that's probably the same with most men, if they're being honest to you. They like this feeling of power. They like to be better than the next man, and that's normal. That's human nature.
1998, you were what, 12 years old?
I was 11, yeah.
11 years old. That was the Good Friday Agreement,
Yeah.
which brought a great measure of peace to Northern Ireland. But you said you still remember the Troubles, and we all saw things that we shouldn't have seen. What were some of the things you shouldn't have seen as a boy?
People getting shot at. I seen buses and cars being hijacked, parked along roads, and rioting, breaking out with police. I seen the police shooting into angry crowds. I seen angry crowds shooting at the police. I seen petrol bombs. I seen a kid who was a couple of years older than me getting... I didn't see it. I seen the aftermath of him being blew up, pretty much. The aftermath was people around him. I remember his feet. I remember seeing his feet like sticking out of this crowd of people. Maybe I'll not see it before all the sectarianism is completely finished, but I'm hoping that my kids do see it.
May I ask you about your daughter, Carla? Are you going to raise her Catholic, Protestant, what?
Whatever she wants to be. I'll let her make her own decision when she's old enough. I've never tried to shove what I am down anyone's throats, and I'm certainly not going to do it to my kids.
Your manager, your mentor, Barry McGuigan, his son Shane trains you.
Yeah.
His other sons help promote you. And he's called you his fourth son.
Yeah.
Why are you so precious to him?
It's almost the polar opposite, you know. I'm the Protestant. He was the Catholic, married to a Protestant. I'm the Protestant, married to a Catholic. But maybe he sees a little bit of himself in me.
Tell me about Leo Santa Cruz.
Leo was a good guy, someone who I respect a hell of a lot, a great fighter, a 3-weight world champion, a family man like myself.
His father had been suffering from cancer in the lead up to your fight. Do you feel for him? Do you feel for his father?
Yeah, I do, of course. You know, it would be a hard situation. You know, if it was my dad, I don't know how I would be able to deal with that, but Leo, obviously he's got a strong character. I think that his dad's a strong person. He wanted him to fight. Isn't
it dangerous for you to really feel for your opponent?
Before the fight, yeah, you feel for him. You feel for the dad. You feel for the whole family. You know, they're good people. But in the ring, I'd probably say Leo would say the exact same thing. There's no emotions. If I have him in trouble, if I have him hurt, I'm gonna, you know, keep going and try and finish the job.
I picked Leo to win. I figured, it ain't gonna be that much of a problem. People saw how good you were in the States for the first time. Does that put you in a different place?
The States is where the big names are made and where the big fights happen. So it does put me in a different place. And, you know, everyone wrote me off in that fight. There was, I think, 34 journalists.
Right here.
32 picked Santa Cruz. And that didn't surprise me. I could understand why people picked him.
How the hell do you beat a guy that throws 1,000 punches?
Distance control was key, and hitting him hard early on. I hurt him in the second round, and we knew that I needed to hit him hard and make him respect me. And he was coming right to the end, even though I hurt him early, and I did hurt him. But he's brave, and he kept coming.
What did Barry tell you after the fight?
He told me that he was proud of me. He was emotional. Barry was emotional. I knew he was proud. I knew he was proud. I seen some of the stuff, the footage after, and I could see him praying at ringside. Barry he's a more religious man than I am, and he wanted me to win that fight.
That's good. You got a Catholic priest in your corner.
Yeah.
Right? You ever think you'd have that?
No, not at all. And this is something Barry does still, and I know this because I've been told. He doesn't tell me, but he goes and each time I fight, no matter where I fight in the world, he goes and visits these nuns in Belfast who have been sworn to have silence. They don't speak. They're not allowed to ask for anything. And he goes and he sits with these nuns and he gives them tea bags, bread, milk, that sort of stuff. They're not allowed to ask for anything. But he asked them to pray for me. And he doesn't know I know that, but I know he does that. And that shows you that he wants me to win.
How does that make you feel?
Like nuns praying for a little Protestant boy from Tigers Bay. To put that into perspective, it's
Put it in perspective.
I don't know what it means. It's like it just doesn't happen, but it's happening for me, and it's a good feeling. It's a really nice feeling.
What are you expecting from Vegas?
I'm expecting to win. I believe that Leo was easily my toughest opponent to date. Not being disrespectful to Leo, but I'm going to win this fight easier than the first fight.
How? Why?
The only person I've fought twice as a professional is Kiko Martinez. The first fight was a hard fight. The second fight, I was in control the whole way. I had him sussed out. And it's the same with sparring. That's just what happens. I don't know. I have a good boxing brain and I can read fighters.
Ali and Frazier had each other. Leonard and Duran had each other. In order to be recognized as a great fighter, you need an epic antagonist.
Yeah.
And for all the talk, you might actually have one in Leo.
I think so. I hope so. I would like that. This may be one of these occasions where when you mention Carl Frampton, you automatically think Leo Santa Cruz and vice versa. I would like that. I would like a rivalry where, you know, in 20, 30 years from now, people remember it. And you always need a dance partner, and Leo Santa Cruz could be mine. They still do it in Belfast. If you ask people about Barry McGuigan, they'll talk about where they were when he beat Eusebio Pedrosa. And I want people to remember me like that in 30 years' time.
When you fought Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Again.
And again.
And again.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah.
Barry said you could end up the greatest of all Irish fighters. Aren't you almost beyond that already?
No.
Aren't the stakes already higher?
I have potentially I could be. After Santa Cruz, I want to continue to fight big names and be involved in big fights. There's never been another Irishman, apart from myself, to win a world title at 2 weight divisions. If I set my sights sometime in the future for the 130-pound division and become a 3-weight world champion, I may feel comfortable calling myself the best Irish fighter of all time.
I'll drink to that.
There you go.
Cheers.